Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to be trying an absolute piece of lunacy today. It's called We're All Mad Here, and having read the rules, yes, it's by GDC, and this is mad. I think it's quite a new puzzle, but a number of you have recommended it. We're the emails that we've had recommending it tell me that it is insane. But the idea is something like the clues have to work both as if this was a 9x9 Sudoku and as if columns 3 through 7, as if all of these squares basically disappeared from the grid. So now there's an example here. So we'll try to work out we'll try and work out what this all means. It's not easy to work out what it means at quick glance, but we'll try and work out what it means in a moment. You can see it's a fog of war puzzle. It's got dynamic fog in it. Now, fog of war is one of the most popular things in Sudoku, and the way fog of war works is, let's say I deduced this digit, it would normally clear the fog from that cell and the surrounding cell, so you get all of that revealed. In this puzzle, if I got that cell, it might only clear the fog from this cell. It might clear the fog from that cell. It's completely it's not arbitrary. GDC will have designed the puzzle so that it reveals the fog in a very specific order. But this is what I'm going to try and have a go at today. It's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, but I will say that the rules are quite unusual, so we'll see how I get on. I'll read the rules, of course, in a moment or two's time. Let me look at my list of things to tell you about. Oh, first thing is, if you do enjoy Fog of War Sudoku, we have our brand new app out. It is our most popular Sudoku app ever that we've ever made, and we've had 12, I think, that we've released now. Why are our apps different? Because they feature handmade puzzles by the world's best constructors. It's as simple as that. There's no computer generation. These are all individual masterpieces, and lots of you have discovered that the fog puzzles are really rather wonderful. So do check it out. We've got a bonus video that lots of you seem to be enjoying, that was released on the channel at 10 a.m. UK time today. It's me solving a puzzle with Maddie, who won last month's competition over on Patreon. And yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the comments, and they are lovely, as they should be. So it was a real treat for me to solve a puzzle with one of our viewers, and that's going to be the prize again for December's competition, which has got about 11 days to run yet. So do check that out if you haven't had a look at it. It's over on Patreon right now, as indeed is Mark's crossword video when he takes on Colin Thomas's. It's a work of genius. I can't reveal too much about it because it has a theme that you're meant to discover through solving the puzzle. But yeah, check it out over on Patreon. It really is very cool. And apart from that, is there anything else I need to mention? Oh, we're streaming on Thursday night at 10 p.m. UK time, more Katadoku Pillar, and I've got some birthdays to do as well. So we'll start off with Pinky over there in Thailand. Pinky, you've turned 27 today. Have I got a picture of your... I do have a picture of your cake and coffee, which I think you were going to be having with your partner today. So that's a pretty good cake, actually. The icing could do with being chocolate, but the ratio isn't bad. It's not bad. It's getting up there to where it needs to be. So Pinky, I hope you had an absolutely brilliant birthday today, along with the coffee and cake. Next, Jordan. Jordan, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your wife Heather wrote in and said you'd appreciate a shout out. I understand you are getting a triple chocolate cake today. And Heather did say also, rather charmingly, that you are the best thing that's ever happened to her. And that you've started getting her into Sudoku. So Jordan, you sound like quite the man. I hope you have a great birthday today. Now, somebody else whose birthday it is, and we have had more notifications from more different people than just about any birthday we've ever featured on the channel. It is the Asylum's birthday today. Lots of the people writing in to tell us it was your birthday, the Asylum, also expressed their love for your Japanese sum Sudokus puzzles, which we've featured on the channel many times, and also in our Patreon rewards. Fantastic things. But we've had, let me read some of the people who've written in. Panthera, Alithana, Jaleb, Casey, Rapfinks, SM Marcus 100, whose birthday it also is today, but SM Marcus 100 was very keen to stress that it was your birthday that we should be celebrating. So the Asylum, I hope you have an absolutely great day today. I hope you get some chocolate cake. Many, many happy returns. And with that said and done, that's all the news. Let's turn our attention to We're All Mad Here by GDC, and I will read you the rules, and then we'll look at that picture of the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Dynamic fog. The grid is covered in fog, and placing a correct digit in a cell lifts fog in that cell and possibly other cells, revealing new clues. It literally says mad fold-in. The vertical dashed lines are folded onto each other so that columns 1, 2, 8 and 9 form a secondary grid. In this grid, all clues are still valid. Then killer. Digits in a... can't see any killer cages. Digits in a cage don't repeat and sum to the total in the top left corner. Cages don't overlap. Crop key. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. So imagine these two squares had a white dot between them. They would then contain consecutive digits. Not all dots are given. That means if these two digits were, say this was 2, I won't put the big digits in case we happen to luck out and get a digit unexpectedly and it clears fog. But if this was a 2, 3, it doesn't have to have a white dot between them. They are consecutive, so it could have, but it doesn't have to have. Oh yeah, and there's this hit points rule, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Hit points. Clues outside the grid give the sum of all cells that contain a digit equal to the distance of that cell from that clue in the row or column. For example, thank goodness, a 4 in row 2, column 4 would count towards the 10 clue in row 2, and any other number, oh, I think it must mean any other number in that cell would not. Horizontal distances in the folded 4 by 9 grid are limited to 1 to 4. Should we have a look at the example, because that just seems like mostly gibberish. Right. Oh, okay. Now I can at least understand the example. So the example is saying that this grid is actually the same, it's from the same puzzle as the grid above it. I hadn't realised that until now. But look, you can see that effectively what's happened here is that those cells have been deleted almost from the grid. They've been folded in so that you can't see them anymore. So the grid just becomes the outside cells. Right, I see. So this hit point, I can't click on it, but that 7 hit points clue must work for both grids, because everything works for both grids. So look, we've got cages we're going to have to think about as well. But so how does it work? Let me just read what the hit points thing is counting again. Oh, right, no, I see it. The orange, or is this an orange? These orange cells are telling us what cells are counting for the purposes of the hit points clue. Yeah, okay, so it's indexing. It's indexing. Right, so the 7 is in position 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it contributes to the hit points total. And everything else is not in its position in the row. This is a 5 in position 2, a 9 in position 3. So the only cell that matched up was 7. But then, oh yes, I see. So when the grid shrinks, the 3 and the 4 suddenly count, because they suddenly are indexing correctly, that the 3 is 3 cells away from the 7, the 4 is 4 cells away from the 7. So the 3 and the 4 count, the 2 doesn't count because it's not in that position. So it's still 7 once we make the folded grid. I'm just going to have a look at the killer cages as well, just to make sure that... Oh, what on earth is going on there then? So... Oh my goodness me, right. Well, that is mad. Yeah, okay. I didn't understand it when I was first looking at it, because I could see that when we fold the grid over... Oh, good grief. The 23 clue, which if we're doing normal Sudoku, I think what we're saying is that, though I haven't done the maths on that, but we're saying those cells add up to 23, just as we would in normal killer Sudoku. But when we fold over the grid, these cells disappear from the 23 clue, don't they? So they've got to be replaced, and they are replaced by the 9, 2 and the 1, which sort of... So this cage sort of takes in those digits instead. And then... But the 25 clue works before everything is folded, and then that 25 and this cell just disappear. And that gets joined up with that, 12, and does add up to 23. Good grief. I mean, that is quite terrifying, actually. That is quite terrifying. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. We get no given cells. And now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Can we? I don't know how the graphics have been done on that. This box with columns 3 to 7 are hidden after folding is most ingenious. So this row has nothing in its correct position, is what this 0 hit points clue is telling us. Oh, and is that from that side? Oh, it's going to be, isn't it? Actually, let's just go and double check that. Yeah, look, the 1 hit point clue from this side is counting the 1 that's in its first cell. So we count from the direction of the hit point clue. So this could be a 1, but that wouldn't contribute towards this 0, because from this perspective, this is the first cell, this is the second cell. So the 5 is either going to be a 5 in position 5, or it's going to be a 1 in position 1 and a 4 in position 4, or it's going to be a 2 in position 2 and a 3 in position 3. It's one of those things. And if you're thinking that's absolutely useless, I agree with you. And in fact, that's not going to get... It's going to be the 10 clue then, isn't it? Because that's somehow getting affected by the folding. Well... Oh yes, okay. So, remember, after folding, the revised grid... I don't even know how to describe this properly, but the revised grid is only 4 cells wide. So it's got a column 1, a column 2, a column 3 and a column 4. So how can we create a hit point clue of 10 when we're only counting the digits that are in their correct columns? Well, they have to be 1, 2, 3 and 4, don't they? And that's from the perspective of the small grid. So I think that's what you have to do. I'm not sure. I mean, it feels right, but I mean, it's clearing fog, and it's revealed a cage. So if it clears the fog, that means it's correct, doesn't it? Placing a correct digit in a cell lifts fog in that cell, so that's good. But how does it work? Because the 3 and the... Oh, I see. Right, okay. The 3 and the 4 are not in the correct position in the 9 by 9 grid, because this is column 8 and this is column 9. But the 1 and the 2 are, so we need 7 more. So the only way of getting 7 more from correctly indexed digits in this row is to write a 7 in that square. These two are out because 3 and 4 have gone in the row, and 5 and 6 do not add up to 7. So that is a 7, I think. That's correct. This is completely bonkers. Okay, we've revealed 2 cages. Oh, no, look, this is exactly what this example was. Because what's going to happen is that this clue has to... Well, this cage has to add up to 28, even once the middle of the grid has disappeared. So it's sharing this cell with the 15 cage. What on earth does that mean? But how does that... Oh, okay. All right, I'm dimly started. Sorry, I just stopped talking then, didn't I? I couldn't understand this at all. I think I have understood something now. What I'm going to... actually, but how does it work if this thing... Okay. I can say one thing, I think this is true. The 15 cage that begins in this square and definitely goes into this square, doesn't it? So this is the initiation of this 15 cage. I don't think that this 15 cage can live its whole life once it crosses this boundary in this portion of the grid. And the reason I say that... Oh, I might be wrong, actually. No, I think that's right. Let's say it did. So let's say it did that, for example. My thought here is that the maximum size of that triomino, and I could make it four cells if we want, but the point is that the maximum size of the digits that could be in that triomino is 14. If I make this a 1, I could make this 14. And this would end then, wouldn't it? Because we would see from the sort of grid furniture that this cage was this shape. So that means that this cage, once we delete the middle of the grid, would be that shape. And we'd be adding 14 to this number, this cell, and trying to get to 28. And I can't write 14 into this cell to get us to where we'd need to be. And I don't know what that means yet, but that seems to be true. So I think what has to happen what has to happen is this 15 cage has to spend a little bit of time on this side, but it has to afford the opportunity for this cage to have some stuff over here. And this is so impossible to explain. I'm trying to say, and I'm not doing it very well, that this has got less than 14 on this side, and then it's going to... Actually, I can see it now. Right. What is the maximum size of a 15 cage in terms of the number of cells it can contain? Well, it's 5. That is the triangular number for 5. If we add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, we get 15. So, I think that this cage has to be this shape, and this might be the best way of me explaining what I think's going on with this cage. Because what I'm saying is that I need... Because I could only put 14 on the right, in orange, on the right of this, that's never enough for this. So there has to be something in this purple cage on this side of the line, so that it adds up once I've deleted the whole of the middle of the grid. Because otherwise, the purple cage will consist of this digit, these digits, this will disappear, whoopsie. And we know these can't add up to enough. So what's going to happen is, if we do make this a 5-cell cage, and that's the only way I can make this long enough to bend back into the disappearing columns. You know, I can't do it like that, because if it was this shape, you wouldn't see the grid furniture on the bottom of this 15 cage. There would be no line at the bottom of this cell, but there is. So this cell is not in the 15 cage. So the only way I can bend back in is like that. This is a 5-cell cage. Oh, well, where's the 3 in it? Because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I just want to check that this can now work. So this will have commonality with those. So those squares up in the purple cage, and then it will have that cell. So now it goes over here for an excursion. But you can see that once the middle of the grid disappears, this cage will then be that shape. And I feel like that gives it a chance, and it could have more cells this side of the line. But it has then got the chance, at least, of being big enough. Now, this being a 3, I need to put a 3 in this 15 cage. By Sudoku, it has to go there. Oh, that's quite interesting. Right, okay, let's just get rid of 3s over here. 4s over here. I don't think I can get rid of anything else over there. But now, this is mad. So this cell is part of that cage, and that cage goes down here. Yes, but now this is, I mean, it's brilliant setting, but it's barbarically bonkers, because now this cage here, and when I say this cage, I mean the cage that will result in the grid after the folding has occurred. This cage, which is at least this size, adds up to 28, but the triangular number for 7 is 28, and this cage has at least 7 cells, so it cannot have 8 cells, or its total would be more than 28, because remember, we can't repeat a digit in a cage, and although it doesn't look like it, these digits are in this cage in the folded grid. So this collection of digits is the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what this means. Okay, so these digits are 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but 4 is over here, isn't it? Because one of these two cells is a 4, so none of these is a 4. None of these is a 2, because 2 has appeared over here. So one of these is a 2, so that is not a 2. This is not a 1. I don't know what that means. Can we use the 5? Oh! Yes, right. Now the 5 clue is important, surely. Yeah, well, the 5 clue is not a 2-3 pair anymore, because 3 is too far away in the column. It won't count. But could we have... no. If 1 and 4 were in these positions... No, 4 can't be, actually. 4 explicitly can't be, because 4 is in the 15 cage and is in this domino. So this has to be a 5 in the correct position, which is there. That's beautiful. Oh no, that didn't clear fog, I don't think. I must be wrong. Oh no, it did clear fog. It did clear fog. Okay, well that's good, because that 5 then gives me a 1 here by Sudoku. I can't see if this... Let's just see if we can keep going. That's a 2. And that's a 4. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's just take stock for a moment, though, because this is 2, 4, 5. So 5 comes out of this side of the grid. Yeah, okay, so now I've got a quadruple here. 1, 3, 6, 7. Now, is there any value at all in main? Oh no, I see. Hang on. So we still actually haven't... The 28 cage in the big grid, like this grid that we see at the moment, I haven't got that at all. It goes into that square, but then we don't know... Well, I suppose it's not going to go up, is it? Because then the cage total wouldn't be in row 3. If this cage ever goes into row 2... then this should have been where the cage total appeared. It's probably this stuff that we've just revealed. Oh, no, that feels impossible. Oh, my brain doesn't like that. Oh, dear, dear, dear. What's going on? Hang on, that feels weird. Because aren't we saying that that is consecutive with that and that? Because in the fold... Oh, so that's a middly digit. Is that right? I think that's right, but that felt very strange for a moment or two. What I was seeing is that by white dot logic in the big grid, these 2 digits are consecutive, so this is consecutive with that. But in the folded grid, this is consecutive with that. So I think that can't be an extreme digit, because say it was a 9, that would be an 8, and this would be an 8. So I'm actually just going to pencil mark column 2, I think. 4, 5, 8, 9. So this I don't think can be a 9, because I think it would put 8 here and here. So that's 4, 5 or 8. And whatever it is, this digit is consecutive with it in the smaller grid. Let's just pencil mark this. I can't. I could so easily make an error here. Well, this can't be 1, because if that's 1, that has to be 2, and that's not right. It can't be 8, this one, because if it's 8, that should be a 7 or a 9, so it's not 8. So it's 6, 7 or 9. Oh, if this is 4, it doesn't work, because that can't be 5 or 3. So that's not... I've got this one down quite a lot. This is 5 or 8. Ah. Yeah, if it's 5, well, I think that has to be 6. And then what's this? This has to be 7 in the big grid. 5, 6, 7. And that can't be 7 by Sudoku. Yeah, if this is 5, you can't go 6, 5, because there'll be 2 5s in the row. So this is 8, I think. And that this was already cleared, so that doesn't necessarily mean that was wrong, that it didn't clear the fog. So this is 7 or 9, and this is 7 or 9. Oh, that's good. No, that's good. Because what's this digit then? It's got to be consecutive. It can't. If that's 9, this has to be 8. So this is 7. This is 9, and this is 6. And we got more clearance over. Well, what did we clear then? We cleared that cell and that cell. That's all we got, I think. That square is not a 3. And the reason that square is not a 3 is if I delete the middle of the grid, that cell is the 3rd cell, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. And that would mean it counted, and it can't count because nothing in this row counts in the big grid or the small grid. There's not some... What's that cell? Let's pencil mark column 8. 1, 6, 8, 9. No. Well, that's not 1. These are not 6. This square is not 9. I hadn't seen that. That's 4 or 5. And that's in this cage. Oh, this cage is one of these... Oh, it's crossing the boundary in a different direction, though. Oh, but that's still bad. That's it's still bad in terms of working out what's going on. Because if that cage... Well, whatever that cage is, let's give it green for a moment. It clearly goes into that cell, doesn't it? And it may go off... Well... Yeah, it may go further. But it definitely goes into that cell. And that means that this is a caged cell in the puzzle. And if it's a caged cell in the puzzle, we have to envisage a world where this disappears. So that must be... Well, it's hard to represent this properly, but that cell is in a cage with that cell. And that cell is in a cage with that cell. But doesn't that mean that that's... I think it does. I think this cell is also in a cage with this cell. And the reason for that is, imagine it wasn't. Then there would be a boundary on the left side of this cell, which there can't be, because that would prevent it from being in a cage with this cell. But we know it is in a cage with this cell because of the grid furniture in this cell. I mean, this is an absolute outrage. This is an outrage. So what does that mean? I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue. So I'm trying to envisage what it... So hang on, there's going to be a cage total somewhere. It could be here. Or it could be... It can't be there, because that's not got any grid furniture in it. So the cage that comes from... The cage that this one is part of is also not part of that one. So the maximum size of this cage on the left-hand side of the grid is that big. So let me just think about this. Let's imagine that was the cage and there was... So that's the top left cell. So there's going to be a number in the corner of this cell that is the total. Oh, so it's the total for that now. But it's also the total... Okay. Wow, actually maybe not. Well, okay, I think I get this. I think the idea here... Yeah. Oh, this is really clever, and it's... This is brutal. This is a brutal thing. Okay, so I think what's happening... I don't think it matters where this cage's clue cell is. Imagine it's here. I was thinking about it being there before, but I think it's the same point. The point is that some cage to the left of this line exists, and I don't know where it exists, but it exists. And when we add this cell into this cage, let's imagine it's this shape. When we add this cell to it, we get to the correct total. But let's imagine. But the problem is that when we do the folded grid, we're not adding this cell anymore because that disappears from the puzzle. We're adding this cell and possibly something else, and in fact, definitely something else. Because if we were only adding this cell into this putative cage, then these digits should be the same number, and they can't be the same number by a Sudoku. So in fact, what we're doing here is we're saying that it's more than this digit. I think what we're saying is this has to be a 1. Because I think what in effect, therefore, we're saying is that whatever this digit is, it finds its sum in terms of this digit and some other digits, which could be higher up. Because if that's the cage over here, there's no requirement that it's just these cells that are adding up to this one. It could be, we could be going this way. But here is the fundamental point, is imagine this was 8 or 9. What is the implication of this being 8 or 9 for the value of this? This has to be higher, because we know we're adding 2 digits. Because these can't be the same, this has to extend somewhere. So we're adding this digit plus some other digit or digits to get this total. So if this was not a 1, the world would break, because this would be 8 or 9, and that would be 9 or 10, and it can't even be 8 or 9. The maximum value of this is 7. So I think the whole point of this, I hope, is that that is a 1, and it is. That is absolutely, it's brilliant, isn't it? It is brilliant setting. So now I've got a 12 cage that definitely goes to that square, but presumably could go further. But, oh dear, 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 what does that mean? Because that's not a very big number. I mean, if this... Oh no, that's still okay, isn't it? If that was sort of a 30 or something, all we're getting from over here, I suppose if that's a 2, we're getting 10 from over here. And the shape of... Okay, how big is this cage? Maybe that's the first question we could ask. Like, how many cells are there in this cage as it looks at the moment? It's a 12 cage. It can have a maximum of 4 cells, can't it? Because 5 cells, we know the triangle number for 5 is 15. So it's either 3 cells, and if it's 3 cells, these two add up to 11, which is possible. Or it's 4 cells. Oh, but that's actually a real cage total. In terms of this grid as it looks at the moment, we can't go up here, because then that would have been the 12. That would have had the 12 in it. So it would have to be that one. And these would... Oh, it couldn't be. It hasn't got 6 in it. So if that is the cage, this is a 1, 2, 4, 5 cage, and the 4 would be there. And that would be a 5. So let me just think about that. So that would be 4, 1. This would be 2, 5. So it'd be a 5 in the corner and a 2 here. I'm just trying to see if this breaks for some weird Sudoku reason. Well, hang on, that doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Because the fundamental point that we've got here now is that this square here... Yeah, we know there's no rinky-dinkage here. We know that this 12 cage doesn't sort of break back and cut this boundary again, because it's a maximum size of a 4-cell cage, and the last cell will in fact be there if it is a 4-cell cage. Otherwise, it's just those cells. So what we're actually saying now is that this digit is the sum of the digits, either these 2 digits or these 3 digits. So, if this is a 4-cell cage, we know this is a 4. Therefore, we know by cage, like by mathematics, these 3 digits add up to 8, and that would be an 8, and it would clash. So that's not going to work. So in fact, we're in a world where these 2 digits add up to that digit. And therefore, I probably know what this is, don't I? I mean, I know this isn't 7, therefore, because that would be 6. So I know where 4 goes. Is that the point of this? I know where 4 goes in this box. That's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think I do. Because if this is 4 is not there by Sudoku. If this is 4, this is a 7 to make this add up to 8, and it can't do that. So that's 4. That's the point, isn't it? It's right. Okay. Okay, well, that wasn't actually enough, was it? Okay, so these add up to 11. Maybe that's how I should do it. They're not 5, 6. They're not 4, 7. So this is either 2, 9 or 3, 8. Oh, but again, I've got to be very careful. I can't have huge numbers on this side, because that's going to make that huge, and it can't be huge. So this is small, this is large, and this digit is now 3 or 4, because it's the sum of these 2 digits. So do I have to have a 4? If that's 4, that's 3, that's 2. If that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know what these digits are now by Sudoku, because I've got an 8-9 pair in box 9. So these are from 2, 3, 5, I want to say. Oh, I see. Right. So 5 by Sudoku is there. Yes. That's no longer a 5. That's... Oh, no. What's that doing then? That's revealing... Oh, I do see what that's doing. That's lovely. That's the first step I've understood, frankly, in the whole puzzle. And now I'll probably think about it and go, no, it's wrong. But I think I do understand that. I'm just going to do some pencil marking while I see the opportunity to do so. Everything else, is this true, what I'm about to say? Because we've got the 5 dealt with in this column, everything else must be in the wrong position, mustn't it? So that must not be a 9, I think. Because if it was a 9, that clue would become a 14. And I've got to make sure everything is in the wrong position in that row, both before and after the cutting of the grid. 1 is in one of those cells, look, in row 9. By Sudoku. So 1 is in one of these 2 cells by Sudoku in box 7. No, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at this, because surely you can see this cage in the grid as we've drawn it at the moment. So without deleting the middle 5 columns, this cell and this cell are in the same cage, aren't they? So let's just purple that for a moment. Let's get rid of the purple here while we're dealing with the big grid. So that's in the same cage, that's in the same cage. Now I know these 2 cells are joined by grid furniture, because that was how we can see it here. There is no wall on the left side of this cage, and that has been revealed. So we know that this meets up with this, and therefore there's no wall on the right hand side of this. So this is also a 7-cell cage, just as in the small grid that is a 7-cell cage. So this is 2, 4, 5 to make the total work, but we have to put the 2s, the 4s and the 5s in different orders. So it's in that order this time, or not that we've actually got the order, but that's it. Oh, I see. And that's 2, 4, 5. So that becomes a 3, and that's the point. Oh, this is bizarre. Is that clearing fog or no? Yes. That was horrible. Okay, so this is a 2, because we know that those two add up to this one. So these aren't 2. This is now 9 by an arcane process known as mathematics. I'm getting loads of digits here. This is tremendous. Okay, I got some digits. I've got 2 and 8 to place into those cells. I can pencil mark these. 1, 6, 7. And we know that that can't be 1, or the 0 clue would be wrong. Let's check the rest of this row. I don't think I can do any more. Even after we fold it. No, that's probably enough. That's probably as much as we can do. Now, that's not a 3. That's not a 3. So where is the 3 in this cage? And the answer is there, apparently. So that's a 3. Didn't reveal anything, or if it did, I didn't. I suppose I should, if I do it. No, it's not revealing anything. No 3 in the corner, so no Christmas singing today. And this is 1, 6, 7. Oh dear. I mean, but I didn't reveal anything. Oh, I see. I've got something on my phone. Let me just check that message on my phone. Oh, hang on, I should just see what that says. I can't do that. Let me just keep going. Keep going. Do not concentrate on what you've just read on your phone. It won't help you. That's not 4 anymore. Ah, look, I'm chocolate teapotted in the column. I've got 4, 5, and 9. I bet this one's resolved for some reason I don't understand. What am I meant to do now? I've revealed something up here, haven't I? Oh goodness, it's another of the... Ah, hang on. Ah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. There's some cage up here. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet, but it definitely encompasses those cells, doesn't it? Now that means, I think, that when we remove the middle of the grid, this cage is going to be in a cage with that one, which means this can't be a 4, because there would be 2 4s in the cage we're going to create once we delete the middle of the grid. So I think that has to be a 9. And that undoes my chocolate teapot look. So that becomes a 5, and that becomes a 4. Oh, I was hoping that was going to actually reveal something. So this is now part of the green cage. I mean, how does that help me? Why has it told me this? I don't know. It's going to be this 27 cage, I think, but I'm just trying to understand what on earth is going on. I don't see it at all. Okay, so we are going to have to figure this out. So, oh, well, hang on, that's an 8 by Sudoku. Sorry, I didn't see that. So that's a 9 by Sudoku. That did seem to clear fog. That's a relief. And does this cage... Oh, it does. I thought for a minute it doesn't, but it does. That cage does add up to 27. But hang on. So there's another cage that starts here in the full grid that adds up to 27. And there's a grid, or there's a cage that lives somewhere under the fog that incorporates these squares that adds up to something that we don't even know. I don't understand. So how... What am I meant to do with that knowledge? I have not got a clue. That's so weird. Okay, I'm going to pencil mark this row in desperation. That's not 9. That's completely absurd. It doesn't do anything. Oh, hang on. I've had another idea. No. I was just thinking the 10 clue is completed, isn't it, now? So I've got to make sure none of these inadvertently end up in their correct position, because that will break the world. That doesn't seem to do... No, I don't think that does do anything. It's funny how much power these tiny clues have. Okay, what's that? That's not... There's a 2, 4, 5 triple there. So that's come right down now. That's 6 or 8. 1, 6, 7, 8. That's naked. I might have guessed. It's Sudoku. This square is a naked single, and I've got that by looking at the column, noticing 1, 6, 7, 8 have to be placed. So I think that has to be 7. It's the only digit it can be, and that is good. Oh, and that's okay. That's going to be helpful because it's given me some clue about what this 27 cage is. But let's just work this out. So 1, oh, nearly. Yeah, I've got 1, 6, and 8 to place in this column, and I think I can eliminate 8 from that one. Nothing from that one. I was checking with the 0 clue, but that's in position 7, so we can't eliminate anything from that. Right, so let's go back to this 27 clue then, which is clearly going to there now, isn't it? So it's taking those cells, and it's not going to get big enough by the time it takes that, so it must go there. It can't overlap with this cage. No, it can't. So it's at least these 4 cells. And it, well, okay, that is what it is, because it's only got 11 more to find, and that's the minimum I can make those digits. That's gorgeous. So that's a 6, and that's a 5. Yeah, and there you go. It's just, it has revealed it for us. So now this is a 1. We're going to get lots. Oh no, we aren't. I thought we were going to get lots of things, but we get an 8-9 pair here. We get a 1, 2, 3 triple in this row, because I've not put 1, 2, and 3 into it. We get a 4 in the corner. We get a 5 here, a 2 here, a 4 here. That digit's an 8. Come on. This is a 6, so this is a 1, this is an 8. It went over there. That's an 8, that's a 2. Now, this is not a 1 anymore, so that's a 6 or a 7. Desperately trying to see if I can do some Sudoku with any of this, but it's probably going to be... Well, how big is this cage at the moment? 23, and it's yeah, this is all blue, isn't it? But we don't know whether blue goes down here. That's the only wet place it could start to grow. But we're on 23. Oh yeah, we only need 4 more, so it must only be those 2 squares, and they must be a 1, 3 pair, I think. So that becomes a 2. That's cleared that. I don't know what that... Oh, well, that's going to be part of my green cage. So that green cage is now going up there. But let me just come back over here, because we've got pencil marks to do. 4, 6, and 7. And the middle of the grid is incredibly... It's incredibly open, isn't it? We know virtually nothing about it. Oh, I've got something beautiful there. Right. Look at Sudoku. Plain vanilla old Sudoku in box 4. Where does the 3 go? It can't repeat in its cage. That's gorgeous. So it's got to go there. I don't know. It didn't clear any fog. Of course it didn't. Bother. So can I not... Can I do anything else with that? I don't think I can. Oh, where's 9 in this box now? I can do Sudoku. That's a 9. Again, we didn't even... Oh, I suppose is it trying to keep it secret, isn't it? It's trying to keep this a secret so I can't fill these digits in. Okay, well that's fine. This digit is 6 or 7 by Sudoku. Right, so I've got a 6-7 pair in this row, and that's got to be a 1. I think that's cleared fog, but I'm not certain. Okay. So, what on earth do we look at now? So these squares are 3, 4, and 5. So that isn't 5. Oh no, 4 can't go there, or that would be correct. 5 can't go there. So oh, I see. Look, this is lovely. So 5 can only go in one place, because this 5 knocks it out of that one. The 5 being here would correct or make the hit point clue incorrect. So that's a 5. That's not clearing anything, is it? That's unbelievable. You rotten puzzle. Oh, that's really harsh. Okay. So... What? Oh no, I don't know what to do. The corner digit here is 2 or 5 by Sudoku, because it sees all the high digits in its row, and it sees some of the low digits in its column, so it's 2 or 5. I'm going to pencil mark it. 2, 5, 6 or 7. This is too confusing for words. That is not a 2. Ah. Yes. Yes, that's okay. So, right, now imagine the grid's been shrunk again. In the shrunken grid, that is a cage. So you can't put 2 here. It would repeat in the shrunken cage. So that is not a 2, and now I get a 2 in the corner. I actually feel I feel like singing about that. Right, that gave me that digit as that's revealed that cell, which is new. So this was 18, 22, 20. I think there's a 25 under the fog there, but I mean, hopefully at some point we'll be able to confirm that. Now, okay, so now we've got a 12 cage that we didn't have before, so let's go and have... It's probably a bit dark on top of the fog, isn't it? Let's go for red. Now, this 12 cage, again, it could be 4 cells large, but if it's 4 cells large, that can't be a 7. If that's a 4, that's a 3. That can't be an 8, so it would have to be at least 2 more cells. In fact, it would have to be exactly 2 more cells. Don't know. 5. Yeah, okay, I think I can get rid of 7 from this square. If it's 7, this is either a naked 5 to make 12, which it's not, or there's a domino, which would be that domino or this domino, that's either a 2, 3 or a 1, 4 pair, neither of which is possible because of this 3, 4 pencil mark. So I think we can take 7 out of here. Now, if it's 6, it has to be 1, 2, 3. Oh, that doesn't work. That's lovely. Right. I think this is right. If this is 6, then we have to decide how we're going to try and make the other 6 for red in this box. Now, there are options. One would be a 2, 4 pair. That's impossible because neither of these squares or these squares can be a 4. The second would be a 1, 5 pair. That's impossible for the same reason. The last possibility is a 1, 2, 3 triple. But remember the 3 in this box is down here. So the only way of making a 1, 2, 3 triple is like that, but that cannot have a 2 in it. So it cannot be a 1, 2, 3 triple. So I think this has to be a 4. So I'm going to say that didn't clear anything, but I've realised it actually gives me... Oh, they didn't. Did I miss something there when I put those in? That's the only thing about this, is you can't see when things get cleared. Or at least I'm probably very capable of not seeing where things get cleared. So this digit now, do we know? So we know we're looking for 8 more, and it's not that square. So this is at least 2 cells. Can it be 3 cells? No. 3 cells adding to 8 would either be 1, 3, 4, which we can't do, or 1, 2, 5, which we can't do. So it's 2 cells that add up to 8 that are not 3 and 5, therefore. So they're either 2, 6, which would be a 6 here, and a 2 here, or 1, 7. Oh, that's horrible, actually. 1, 7 could go anywhere. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm going to make this 1, 6, or 7. Oh, that's really underwhelming. So maybe this row, 9 in the row, has to be here now. That's going to put 9. Yeah, okay, where's 9 in column 4? That's actually quite an interesting point. 9 has got sort of corralled, if you like, into this domino in box 5. It's in the same 2 columns in box 2. So when you get this sort of pattern, you should ask where the 9 goes in the sort of other column, if you like. And I think it's only got 1 cell, and let's hope this... Oh, it didn't do it. It didn't do it, did it? It did nothing. You naughty old puzzle. So 1, 6, 7, 8... Oh, nearly. Okay, I'm pencil marking it again. 1, 6, 7, 8, because I've seen that this square can't be 1, but this one can't be 6 or 7. Or 8. That's a 1. Still, it still isn't giving me anything. Ah, it's got rid of 1 from that square. Ah, so we know the shape of this cage now. It doesn't go into that square. It would be too big. So it must go into that square, which is pushing the 9 over. So that's 9, that's 9, that's 8. And this square is a 1, because we can't be 2, 6ing now because of this 2. So I think this is a 1. Yes, so that's a 7. This is a 1. This is a 3. Please, please, please. Please work. Please work, naughty puzzle. Yeah, we're going to get some stuff done here now, aren't we? That's a 1 in row 5. This is 6. The 6 in row 5 is there, so that's a 7. That's a 6. That's a 6. That is a 25 cage. That is what we said we were going to get, isn't it? I think it is. This is now a 7. This is a 6. And these squares are 2, 6, 8. And that's not 8. And that seems to be able to be anything. Oh, bobbins. Okay, so have we now? Do we know what's going on? I'm looking around. Oh, I don't know, actually. What have we got going on in this row? 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 6 or 7. And that is anything. 5, 6, 7 or 8. No! No! Okay, let's complete our red shading so we know what's going on. Oh no, this would be terrible if I can't finish it now. Where's 4 in box 8? That's a good question. I think it's there. It didn't do anything. It doesn't matter how many times I put it in, it doesn't clear anything. Okay, let's try this column then. 2, 3, 6, 7. Oh, it says a 6, 7 pair. So that's a 2. That's a 3. Oh, I seen what we're going to get there. We're going to get Christmas music. Let me just see if we can. What's that digit? Is that a 2? Seems to be. And in this row, this square now is not 5, so this is a 6, 7, 8 triple. So this is 5. This must be resolved somehow. Okay, but let's. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are your corners. And look at that. We got a white dot revealed. I was wondering about how we were going to do this, but a white dot. These 2 digits are consecutive, so one of them must be odd. That is the nature of consecutive digits, and therefore the only odd pencil mark we've got here is that being a 7. So 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, 8, 8. That is spectacular. It's taken me over an hour. Well, is it right? Yes. 103 people have solved it in less than 2 days. Well, that is the nature of these Fog of War puzzles. They are so popular with great reason. They're just wonderful things. And that was, well, the best adjective for it is mad. It was mad. It was completely mad, but it was also beautiful. It really was. That was stunning. Absolutely stunning puzzle. Loved it. GDC, take a bow. Let me know in the comments how you got on and whether it drove you mad too. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.